Hi, everyone, back to Evermore YouTube channel. It's Chris back with my rant stroke thought of the day, and it's all about our England superstar, Anthony Gordon. Now, put your cap on because I'm about to blow your mind. I'm not really, to be fair. I just wanted to say that because I'm wearing a hat in case you wonder why my hair is a mess. But going back to the main point in question is Anthony Gordon. This is really sad to talk about this in a video. So we've seen this video doing the rounds now off the back of England getting through to the semi-finals of Euro 2024 that nobody understands why, because they've been utterly dog shit the entire tournament. They got through on penalties, great penalties, by the way. Ivan Toney just staring into the soul of the goalkeeper. I mean, fair play to him. That's unbelievable penalty technique. I couldn't do that. I just put my head down and smash it as far as I could and fast as I could, really. But going back to the whole situation, so in amongst all of the noise and the drama and everything with the penalty shootouts, there was a picture doing the rounds prior to the penalty shootouts where obviously Gareth Southgate is talking to the team, preparing them probably, I think it's either for extra time or penalties. I can't quite remember where the timestamp was for this photograph, but there was something in the photograph that was really, really tangible, certainly from a Newcastle United fan's point of view. And it was Anthony Gordon. He was left just kind of crestfallen, looking really forlorn, looking really sad in the background, just not involved, in the team talk, huddle, whatever it may be. A little bit like that poor lad at the party that nobody wants to play with. And, to the left of him was Adam Wharton as well, actually, from a Crystal Palace point of view. Now, this has really pissed me off about Gareth Southgate. Southgate has his favourites. We all know this, right? Going into this tournament. I mean, the very fact that the first game when England stuck the fucking stadium out, he was talking about Calvin Phillips, who's been dog shit for the last 6 months of the season. So he takes young, talented players like Adam Wharton, who has been sensational at Crystal Palace since he signed from Blackburn, but Anthony Gordon, who's lit up the Premier League last season, double-digit goals, double-digit assists, one of the most dangerous left-sided players in the league, one of the most dangerous attacking players in the league alongside Cole Palmer. But for some reason, Southgate just doesn't fancy him. He's barely given him a sniff. I think he got a couple of minutes in extra time or injury time. And I think one of the previous games, possibly against Slovakia, I think it was, wasn't it? Or something like that. But Cole Palmer seems to be ahead of him. He's getting a game beforehand. Even Eze's ahead of him. And Eze's a talented player, but he's not as good as Anthony Gordon, Southgate. Look at last season. That fucking tells you that. Different types of players. But Anthony Gordon was sensational last season, and he should have got in the England squad on merit, and he did get in on merit, but for some reason this prick just doesn't want to play him. But the really sad thing, the really worrying thing here is about Anthony's mental state, really. Now, he seems really, really resilient, really, really strong. A lot of people have said that. I posted this photo on our Twitter page, or X as it's called now, down there. I don't like it normally because it's full of trolls and turds that won't flush generally, apart from some wonderful people who leave very nice comments. That might be you. Thank you so much. But going back to this now, this photo can be taken in 1,000 different ways, and photographs are like that. If you capture a snapshot in that particular moment in time, it looks like something it might not be. So I'm not going to try to get too hyperbolic there. So there may be a situation where Anthony Gordon is more involved in the team than that photograph leads to believe. But we've seen pictures of him just sitting on the bench, just looking like, what the fuck am I doing here? Then you've seen the picture there as well. And it seems to speak 1,000 words. And I just really worry that Southgate almost took him based on media clamour. He was very similar with Jack Grealish, if you remember, when Jack Grealish was sensational for Aston Villa. And everybody was saying, why on earth is this kid not on the England team? And it was almost that pressure from the media to put Jack Grealish into the England pitch. And then when he went to City, Southgate thought, well, he's at City now. I've got to pick him, and he picked him week in, week out. It didn't take him to this tournament because Jack Grealish didn't have a massively great season last season. I'm sure City fans would be the first to say that. But Anthony Gordon is just sitting on the bench. And, most of the time you could say, look, he can't get ahead of Phil Foden, who's a brilliant player. Saka was a brilliant player. Harry Kane was a brilliant player. Jude Bellingham was a brilliant player. But a lot of these big players for England haven't turned up. They've been shit, really, in the main. And, Southgate has had to change things. He's had to do things. And he doesn't seem to want to do it. And then when he does change, he makes the same changes time and time again. Cole Palmer and Eze, who are both very, very good players as well. I'd love to pair them in a black and white shirt. But poor Anthony Gordon is just sitting there in cryostasis like Sylvester Stallone and fucking Demolition Man, frozen solid like a block of ice, with seemingly no chance of getting involved in this game whatsoever. And I don't understand why. I don't understand what the kid has done, short of falling off his bike and scarring his fucking chin, to be completely, just put into the background by Southgate. Adam Wharton, exactly the same. He started this tournament with a right back playing in midfield who was nowhere near supposed to be there. He miles out of position. The game passed him by. And you've got this really talented young centre midfielder on the bench who uses the ball so well, never loses the ball. Brilliant little player. And he's not even getting a sniff either. He fancies Kobe Mainoo because he plays for Manchester United. I don't see the hype behind Kobe. I'm sorry, guys, I don't. jump in the comments and tell me if you disagree with me, right? I think he's a decent player, don't get me wrong. But if he wasn't playing for Manchester United, he wouldn't be in that fucking England team. I'll tell you that for free. And if Louis Miley had stayed fit for the rest of the season, I'd have been really interested to see who would have went to the England squad, because Louis Miley was doing everything Kobe Mainoo was doing, in my opinion, if not a bit better, at a grander stage in the Champions League. So let's just see how Louis comes back from his broken foot next season. And Gareth Southgate probably won't even be the England manager at that particular time. But the main point of this video really is just a little bit about sympathy for Anthony Gordon. It just looks like he's not really enjoying himself over in that tournament. I mean, a few of our stars who have played at national tournaments this season are coming back already. Bruno's gone out with Brazil. They had a honker of a game. They got put out of the Copa America. Fabian Schär obviously was being put out by England now as well, so he'll be going on a little jolly holiday before he comes back. Fabian Schär was brilliant, I thought, as well in that game. For that cross alone was the best cross of the night, to be fair. Harry Kane was probably thinking, I wish he played for England. But yeah, so some of the senior players at national duty are going to go in holiday, then come back pre-season. But Anthony Gordon could very well get to the Euro 2024 final. Listen, he may still play stamp in this tournament. Maybe he'll get a game in the final. He might score the winning goal, and that'll boost his confidence right up. But so far it's been difficult summer, I think, for Anthony Gordon. He's not getting a sniff at England. There's all these talks about the club looking to cash in on him. Liverpool interested. Apparently City are now interested in him as well, because they might smell a bit of blood and they might think that Newcastle are interested. Potentially Jack Grealish could be heading out of City if Pep thinks he's not doing what he wants him to do, and maybe move him on and potentially replace him with Anthony Gordon. Let's hope not, because we want to keep Flash, and he's massively important to Newcastle. Apparently, the incoming sporting director, Paul Mitchell has said he's not interested in selling any of the key players. The key players are exactly the ones to build the squad around. That's music to our ears from this guy coming in, because we cannot sell Isak, Gordon, Bruno, Botman. They cannot be sold. That's what we should be building this football team around, this club around, and hopefully, the senior management know that, and they will make sure it doesn't happen this summer. But in terms of Gordon, I just want to jump on and give my opinion on it. I think it's really sad to see these young lads, not just Gordon, but Wharton as well, just kind of on the peripheries, just excluded in the background, and Southgate not bothering his arse from it. Again, the picture could be completely misconstrued and taken into the wrong context, but it doesn't look good, not just for Newcastle fans, Palace fans as well, and England fans, seeing the team just being one-dimensional. Harry Kane looking like he's playing as a fucking centre-back, nothing happening, no change, all these exciting options on the bench, and Southgate does the same shit time and time again. It's not good, in my opinion. I'd be shocked if England win that tournament. I really, really will. If they do win it, they'll be the shittest team to win the tournament for God knows how long. But let us know in the comments below what you think about Anthony Gordon over in England. Do you think this is getting blown out of proportion? Or again, like me, do you think it's a bit sad to see, and maybe that the England manager's not giving them a fair rub of the green, or a shake, to give him a chance to influence games? Because I think England are screaming out for Anthony Gordon's, dynamic running and his ability to find space. You might not need extra time in penalty, Southgate, if you actually unleashed Flash Gordon from the bench. But let us know what you guys think. Smash a comment in. We'll reply to you if you've taken the time to comment. That's what we do here. We don't ignore you. Keep it above the belt. No reason to get nasty. I know England brings out the devil in a lot of people, but we're just talking out loud here about football. That's what we all like to do. Keep it clean, keep it football, and there's no reason to flick you out of the comments, guys. If you like this kind of a thing, smash subscribe. We're over 8K now. We're pushing on to 9. Help us get there as quick as we can, guys. Like the video. It's all free content. If you want to be a member, there is an option down there below. Click whichever one suits you best. Have a cracking day. Let's hope that Anthony Gordon can influence this game on Wednesday against the Dutch, and maybe get England into a final of the European Championships. Have a belter. We'll see you later. Cheers.